In my last video about the Souls-like genre and how I don't want to get good anymore, I said that I don't have time to get good. And honestly, after some reflection, I feel like I need to go back and amend that. You see, it's not that I don't have time to get good. It's that time for many of us, especially depending on the speed of which you live your life, is valuable and it's limited. But as with anything in life, you make time for the things that are important to you. So what I should have said is, many of these Souls-likes make me feel like I am wasting my time. Or, in a less provocative sense, make me feel like I am not getting rewarded for my time in the way that I would like. Because let me tell you, I have sunk absolutely all of my time into Clair Obscura Expedition 33. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Night Sean, and today, after all of these years, you are right, I got good. But you shouldn't have to get good to enjoy the games that you pay for. Let's talk about it. This is the first game for me in a long time where all I wanted to do in my free time was to play this game. Kids, them kids. 2 jobs, quit both of them. LLC, went bankrupt. Volunteer in my community, nah, go star. And after playing this game so much, I have gotten good. For those of you who have played Expedition 33 or have seen the gameplay, you will know that the system is a turn-based RPG with character action element. The dodging and the parrying system implements a risk versus reward structure. Dodging is quicker and can spare you from devastating attacks and is a lot easier, while parrying requires almost exact timing. These payoffs can be numerous, but failure to parry can be devastating. And I've heard a handful of people suggest that this system is rather unforgiving, which is wild because for me, once I got a hang of it, I became, dare I say, good. Because I put the time and dedication into it. I couldn't wait to progress through the story, unlock new moves, and I couldn't wait to be greeted by the next insurmountable challenge. And to that point, this is something that the hardcore Soul fans have been saying. And to an extent, they were right, I won't lie. As I previously mentioned while describing the timing necessary to successfully parry or block, many have likened the precision needed to play similar to one of those character action games like Devil May Cry, Ninja Gaiden, or Bayonetta. In my last video, I expressed a lot of exhaustion with the difficulty in the Souls and the Souls-like genre, but also I expressed my absolute love of the character action genre. Many would be frustrated at how unforgiving those games could be, especially the OG Ninja Gaiden 2, but me? Nah. Even after playing them on their hardest difficulties to master the combos and the timing, I loved every moment. One could say that I would get good at those games. Look at me, out here building bridges instead of burning them. But even with those games, Expedition 33 included, they did have easy mode, just saying. At best, you could drop the difficulty just enough for you to get a hang of the games and the rhythm, and then bump the difficulty up where you feel comfortable. Which does give credence to many of the Souls fans' arguments that if you enjoy something, then you would find time to get good at it despite the challenges. That does depend on the rewards and how valuable those rewards are to you. The reward of finally beating that enemy that took you hours of grinding, the tangibles and how people perceive them are just different. In Bayonetta, I enjoy mastering the combos, getting the witch time down and pummeling my enemies. Some people who play those games find it difficult because they can't make out what's going on the screen and they can't make out the timing. In my Git Good video, many people pointed out to me that while the Souls games don't necessarily have easy modes, they do have some accessibility features that make the games less challenging if you decide to use them. I think that's absolutely awesome. Honestly, that's kind of an oversight on my part, so thank you to all of those who pointed that out. Having options like those and accessibility features are a great way to preserve the intent of those games and those experiences without the game sacrificing its identity. For example, Expedition 33 has an abundance of checkpoints. It's not just the flags where you usually save the games, you also have an abundance of skills that you can equip. Of course, I like that you also don't lose your points upon dying, just saying. Expedition 33, like many character action games, allow you to continue to stack up your points and level up as you see fit. On top of lowering the difficulties, you have health items, respawns, and so many options. Options are a good thing, and options usually help you get good. And I would like to acknowledge, even though I made a video and am making another video complaining about Souls-likes and how hard they are, I still buy them all. And if I do decide to spend hours grinding and learning the patterns, I do feel rewarded and a sense of pride, I'm not gonna lie. But I don't feel that pride all the time. And it's not just limited to the Souls-likes. One recent example of a game that I really enjoyed this year was Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. For the familiar and unfamiliar, KCD 2 adopts a hyper-realistic, as the people say, aspect of gameplay, which requires time, patience, and dedication. And honestly, I enjoyed just about every moment of it. However, there was one particular point in the game where I lost about 3 hours worth of progress. And that all happened because I was attacked by a random group of bandits that I didn't see coming and I didn't save before. Sure, it's my fault, but I lost all of that work. And it seems like my time was wasted, and I haven't looked back since. I've had similar experience with some of the Souls games. You put in a lot of work, you die. Okay, cool. Death be deathin' sometimes. You gotta do what you gotta do. So I go back and I wanna retrieve all my points that I was saving up on top of the extra points, and then what happened? Boom, die again, and again, and again. And while that loop elicits determination for some, for me, it elicits nothing but frustration. Now, I acknowledge a love for a challenge, and as I stated, there are specific forms of challenge that I like as well. Expedition 33 provides a level of challenge in gameplay that I like and I am very partial to, because I am biased, as we are all biased. We gotta remember, not only do most regular people have limited amounts of time, they also have limited amounts of money. So yes, I am biased, which there is nothing wrong with that. We are all biased. Outside of our own individual preferences, there are a number of external factors that contribute to what we play and how we play. The first, which has served as the main thesis of this video, is the amount of time it takes. But the second and often overlooked aspect when it comes to the Git Good discussion is the money. It's one thing for a game to not be for everyone, which is something that I agree with, because that's how you get good games, is when companies decide to take risks and not necessarily appeal to the masses. It doesn't have to be for everyone. But it's a little bit different when you realize that those games are sold to everyone. Souls games are known for their challenge, so it's easy to say, go play something else. But what about those Souls-likes, or even games that aren't necessarily Souls-likes, but they aspire to have a degree of challenge that people might not be as privy to? What if they see a trailer, they think it looks cool, and then they decide to spend the money, and then next thing you know, they can't even play it? I believe that when you're spending $60, $70, $80 on a game, you should be able to enjoy it in a way that you want to, because you paid for it. I understand the intent, the play method and style and all that, but honestly, that matters significantly less when you are putting your own capital towards something. When you're spending that much money on the game, never mind the reality that returning the games is often a chore. Physical copies of games, if you can find them, rarely allow you to return them if you bought them brand new. If you play on PC, thankfully Steam and other PC gaming platforms, they have like a 2-hour return window, which, while generous, isn't always representative of the overall quality of the game. You could, of course, buy the game on sale, which I often recommend if you are concerned with the risk, but really the obstacle of time and money and getting good all in itself could be solved in ways that I think would make everyone happy. The first is, bring back the demos. Not only are they a good way to see what the game is about, but more importantly, it's a great way to see if the game is for you. For example, Final Fantasy XVI had a demo that showcased the first 2 hours of the game. In that demo, you saw the combat direction, the boss fight scale, the way that the story was gonna look, and it made some people like me be like, yo, that's Devil May Clive right there, while others were like, that don't look like Final Fantasy, hashtag not my Final Fantasy. You got to experience the game risk-free, and you were able to make an informed purchase based off of your own experience, as opposed to reviewers or word of mouth, because again, people are biased. The demo though, if we were going to have them, they should showcase what the game is actually about, the breadth and the scope of the game. Honestly, it should plop you right in the middle of the game and make you suffer. And if you suffer through the demo and you love it, then you're a masochist and you want to get good. That's great. And if you don't suffer through it, or if you're like, nah, this ain't for me, you ain't have to waste your money. Easy day. Third, like I talked about earlier, and many of the Souls players reminded me of when I made my last video, some of these games do have features of accessibility options that don't always equate to an easy mode. Whether it's summons in Elden Ring or items that boost combo abilities in character action games. This, to me, the idea that a game has mechanics to soften the blow, is probably the best middle ground in this tired old discussion. Lastly, and honestly, while I think this is least likely to happen, it should be a lot easier to return to games like how I talked about earlier. As expensive as these things are, and as hard as life is for many people, playing video games may be one of the few basic luxuries that people can afford. That's probably what gets people through. I myself grew up in poverty. I would get maybe one new game every couple months or so if I was lucky, and I would play that game until exhaustion. In fact, when I was in high school, when I had time, I would use the same $60, go to GameStop, buy a game, beat it within the return period, return it, and do it all again. I would do that as long as I could until I found that one game where I was like, you know what, I like this. I'm gonna keep playing this. I'm not gonna lie to you, that GameStop, they eventually told me I couldn't do it no more. It was against the rules. Side note, in college, I ended up working for GameStop, and that was a lie. I don't think it's cool to spend $80 on a game that you can't play. There might be some people that say, if you're poor, you shouldn't be buying games anyway. And to that point, I will say poor people should be able to enjoy life without every dollar and every waking moment of their being spent towards getting out of poverty. A great game with a great community could be the one thing that gets you up out of bed in the morning. So yeah, that's all for today. I love the comments and the discussion in my last video. Thank you all for that. Whether you agreed with me or disagreed with me, those perspectives actually helped me evolve my own perspective a lot. I would love to continue this dialogue. If you made it this far and I've earned your subscription, please throw me a sub, a like, and a comment. That'd be awesome. And in conclusion, my friends, you can get good, but you shouldn't have to. Until next time, Night Sean out.